Hello, this is David Taylor at Web Design Academy, and in this video I want to talk about the issue of plugins and how they add functionality to a website. So first of all, let me show you two resources that I think you're going to want to have a look at. The first one is the official WordPress plugin directory, and you can find it at this address, this URL. So you can search the official directory there, or you can go to this site, which you'll find at wpplugindirectory.org. And I think this one is a little more user-friendly. You can browse by category, access and security, for example. It says there's 95 plugins in the directory. The other good thing about this site is that it's a curated plugin directory, so the plugins have been selected, and you can view them in terms of reviews, categories, tags, download counts, last update, etc. So this looks like a really good resource for plugins. But what are plugins? Okay, well, if we go to the back end of a WordPress website, we're logged into the admin area, as you can see, and in the main menu down the left hand side you can see one of the tabs is plugins, which I've clicked on, and you can see that this site contains a wide range of plugins, not all of which are active. I think it's important to make that point, because what you need to remember is that the more plugins that you have active on a website, it can slow the website load speed down, because essentially all of the plugins that you activate have to load before the website can load. So it's a good idea to keep the number of plugins fairly minimal if you can, unless you've got a good reason to have them installed. Just having a look at some of the plugins in this site, just point out a few. This is a popular one, Broken Link Manager. Obviously it sits in your dashboard and it tells you if it finds broken links within the website. So that can be very useful, because obviously you don't want to go trawling through a website checking whether all the links still work 6 months after you've built the site. So that can be a really good resource. The other thing to note about plugins is that in many cases they are free, or they can be free in the light version, and there will be a pro version which has more features, and you have to pay for that version, the pro version. The payment can vary enormously. It can be as little as $10, and it can go up to several $100s depending on the complexity of the plugin and the amount of work that's gone into building it. There's another plugin here, ClickDesk Live Chat. You've probably seen live chat on websites where there's a little icon that sits in the corner of the browser, and basically it tells you when the business is online and available to answer questions, which can be an excellent resource for your web users. Contact Form 7 is one of the most widely used contact forms. It's very flexible. Again, it's free, and if your design theme doesn't come with a contact form, which many don't, then this is an excellent add-on for most design themes for WordPress. Just a couple of more. Duplicate Post. This is a very useful plugin, one I use a lot. What Duplicate Post enables you to do is to literally hover over a page that's already created or a blog post that's already created, and you can click on the clone icon and basically create an exact replica of a page or a post, which you can then go into and edit and turn into another page on the site. And this is by far the easiest way to create a new page or a new blog post, by cloning an existing one. So very good plugin, that duplicate post. And one more from here, Google Analytics dashboard for WP. This of course pulls your basic Google Analytics data into the dashboard, the WordPress dashboard of the website, so that every time that the owner of the website logs into the admin area, they can see a summary of what's been happening in their Google Analytics, i.e. the number of web visitors to their website and data like that, which is very handy and saves them having to log separately into Google Analytics to get that data if they just want the most basic data. So that's just an example of some of the things that plugins can do. And the other great thing is that these plugins are actually created to work with WordPress, and so in most cases you're not going to have any problem just installing them, and they will work immediately. So they bring functionality to your website in seconds or minutes. The other thing to bear in mind is, if I go back to this site here, which was wpplugindirectory.org. Sorry, no, it wasn't this one. It was the other one. It was this one. Yeah, you can see in this the official WordPress .org directory of plugins. This contains over 53,000 plugins. I mean, that is an extraordinary number of plugins that you can use with WordPress websites to bring some pretty dazzling functionality into your customer's web experience. So it's a great thing to get familiar with plugins, so that when you see a client and they're talking about what they want their website to do, you can make certain suggestions about how a plugin could help deliver that experience, that user experience. The other thing I like to do sometimes, just finally, is to go to Google and to do a search for my favorite WordPress plugins, and you'll find blog posts and all sorts of interesting suggestions here about people's experience of using different plugins and what they can do. The main drawback with plugins is that it's very difficult to have a working knowledge of all of the plugins out there and what they can do. Normally the way that it works is that a customer will say, can you get my website to do X, Y and Z, and then you'll go to Google and do a search for that functionality and see if you can find a plugin that will do that, or something that will do near to that function. And an awful lot of the time you will find a plugin that will deliver that solution. So plugins are a great resource, especially when they're free, which many of them are. So there we are. There's a basic introduction to plugins, which of course we will go into further and in more detail on the weekend course. But for now, I hope you enjoyed that introduction, and we'll see you on the next video.